I was standing in my kitchen on Christmas Eve, the smell of rosemary turkey filling the air, candles glowing on the table, right as my son walked in and said, "Mom, Lauren thinks we shouldn't give you anything this year. She says you need to learn that love isn't bought." I just handed her a $2,500 designer handbag and secretly paid off his $32,000 student debt that morning. She smirked like she'd won. He stood there silent, obedient. They thought they were teaching me a lesson, but they had no idea I'd already prepared a gift of my own. Friends, before we dive into this story, I want to ask for a small favor. If you're watching this, please hit like, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment telling me where you're listening from. Your country or city means the world to me. Thank you for being here and for listening with your heart. I'm standing in my kitchen, turkey in the oven, the scent of rosemary and garlic filling every corner of the house like it always does on Christmas Eve. Candles flicker on the table, soft light bouncing off wine glasses I only bring out for real occasions. My palms are damp from nerves, but I smooth my dress down and take a slow breath. I've been waiting for this all week. Daniel's first visit since Thanksgiving, the first real chance to feel like a family again. Then the door opens, and there they are. Daniel in that navy sweater I knitted him 2 winters ago. Lauren in heels that click too hard against my hardwood floor. I step forward, arms open, but before I can even say his name, Daniel clears his throat and says, "Mom, Lauren thinks we shouldn't give you anything this year. She says you need to learn that love isn't bought." The words land like a punch to the ribs. I freeze mid-step. My hands drop to my sides. All I can think is, I paid off his student loans this morning. Every last cent, $32,000 gone, money I saved for years just so he wouldn't carry that weight anymore. And yesterday, I drove all the way to the mall to buy Lauren that camel hair coat she'd posted about 3 times on Instagram. I remember thinking, maybe this will help. Maybe if I'm generous enough, she'll stop looking at me like I'm dirt. Lauren stands there with her arms crossed, lips curled in that half-smile she wears when she thinks she's won something. Daniel doesn't look at me. He stares at the floor like he's rehearsed this line and is too embarrassed to watch it land. My throat tightens, but I don't cry. Not yet. Instead, I feel this cold clarity spread through my chest, sharp and sudden. I've spent months bending myself into knots trying to please them, shrinking my voice, swallowing every hurt so the peace stays intact. And for what? So they could walk in here, take my gifts, and tell me I'm doing love wrong? I glance at the envelope tucked in my coat pocket on the back of the chair, thick, sealed, filled with everything I've quietly gathered over the past 6 weeks. My fingers twitch. I walk calmly to the chair, pull it out, and turn back to them. "Perfect," I say, my voice steady, almost cheerful. "Then I have one more gift for you." Lauren's eyes narrow just a fraction. She doesn't know what's coming, but she senses it. Something in my tone. Maybe the way I'm not flinching anymore. Daniel just blinks, confused. He still has no idea how deep this goes. I don't hand them the envelope right away. I set it down gently on the table beside the gravy boat, like it's just another part of the dinner setting. Then I pick up the wine bottle and pour 3 glasses, even though my hands want to shake. "Sit," I say, gesturing to their usual seats. Lauren hesitates, but Daniel obeys like he always does when I use that voice, the one that sounds calm but means business. He slides into his chair without a word. Lauren follows, slow and guarded, like she's walking into a trap. And maybe she is. I sit across from them, smooth my napkin over my lap, and take a slow sip of wine. The silence stretches, thick and brittle. Outside, snow falls silently against the window pane. Inside, the oven timer beeps. Turkey's done, but nobody moves. "You know," I say finally, "I used to think being a good mother meant giving everything. My time, my money, my peace. I thought if I loved hard enough, it would be enough." I look at Daniel. "I cleared your student debt today, all $32,000. Gone, no strings." His eyes widen. He opens his mouth, but Lauren cuts in fast, voice sweet like poisoned honey. "Oh, Evelyn, that's so generous. But you shouldn't have. We were just trying to teach you that gifts aren't the way to earn love." I nod slowly. "Right. For my own good." She smiles like we're sharing a secret. But I'm not smiling back. Daniel finally speaks, voice low and strained. Mom, we didn't mean to hurt you. Lauren just thinks that sometimes you give too much because you're afraid we'll leave. The words hang there, ugly and wrong. Afraid? I've been afraid, yes, but not of them leaving. I've been afraid of watching my son disappear into this shell of a man who nods along while his wife twists everything I say into weakness. I push my chair back slightly and stand. The coat's in the living room, Lauren. The one you liked online. It's yours. She perks up instantly, like a dog hearing a treat bag rustle. Really? Oh, Evelyn, you didn't have to. I know, I interrupt, but I wanted to. I walk to the hallway closet and pull out the gift bag, handing it to her without ceremony. She tears into it like a kid, eyes lighting up when she sees the label. This is incredible. Look, Daniel, real cashmere. He gives a weak smile, but his gaze keeps drifting to me, to the envelope still sitting on the table like a time bomb. I go back to my seat and place both hands flat on the table. You said no gifts from you. That's fine, but I've prepared something else, something you both need to see. Lauren's smile falters. She clutches the coat like it might vanish. What is it? She asks, too casually. I don't answer. I just reach for the envelope, peel back the seal, and pull out the first page. A lesson, I say quietly. Not about love. About truth? On a Wednesday, her hair's down, sunglasses on, looking over her shoulder like she's checking for spies. Daniel frowns. What's this? That's the Sterling Hotel, I say. Room 412. You were at the office that day, remember? Said you had a late meeting. His frown deepens. Lauren's gone rigid. This is ridiculous, she snaps. I was meeting a client. She was staying there. Funny, I say, sliding the next photo forward. Because this man, Adrian Moore, owner of 3 luxury car dealerships, left that same room 15 minutes later. And he's married. 2 kids. Daniel stares at the image, then at Lauren. Is this true? She scoffs. Your mother's paranoid. She's making things up because she's bitter I'm not her little girl. I don't flinch. I pull out a printout of a text message. Can't wait to get rid of boring Dan. Once we have the house, we're golden. Daniel's face drains of color. That's your phone number, he whispers, looking at her. Lauren's mask cracks just for a second. Fear flashes in her eyes before she slams her hand on the table. This is fake. She's trying to destroy us. But I'm already pulling out more. Bank transfers, receipts for $4,000 handbags, a screenshot of a Bahamas resort booked under both their names for January. The house, I say calmly. You've been planning to push me out so you could sell it. Split the money. Leave him with nothing. Daniel looks like he's been gutted. He turns to Lauren, voice breaking. Tell me it's not true. She can't. The truth is stacked right there on my Christmas table, wrapped in evidence, not pretty paper. Daniel stands suddenly, chair scraping loud against the floor. He walks to the window, back turned, shoulders shaking. Lauren watches him, panicked now, not smug anymore. Michael, please, she starts, but I cut her off. His name is Daniel, and you don't get to pretend you care now. She glares at me, venom in her voice. You ruined everything. You selfish old woman. You had to control him, didn't you? Even after he grew up. I don't rise to it. I just look at my son's back, at the boy who used to run to me when he skinned his knee, and feel a grief so deep it almost buckles me. But I stay standing. I stay calm, because I know this is the moment that changes everything. Daniel turns around slowly, tears streaking his face. Why? He asks her, voice raw. Why would you do this? Lauren doesn't answer. She just grabs her coat, shoves the cashmere into the bag, and marches to the door. You're both pathetic, she spits, before slamming it shut behind her. The house goes quiet except for the soft hum of the oven and Daniel's uneven breathing. He looks at me, eyes full of shame. Mom, I'm so sorry. I walk over and take his hand. You don't have to apologize. You just have to see. And for the first time in years, he really looks at me, not through her lens, not through guilt or obligation, but with his own eyes. By the time he leaves that night, I know one thing for certain. I can't pretend anymore. My son may be broken right now, but he's mine again, And if I don't act now, if I don't protect what's left, I'll lose everything, including him. I'm folding laundry in the guest room, Daniel's old college sweatshirt, a set of sheets I just washed for their visit, when their voices drift in from the living room, soft at first, then sharp. They're laughing, but it's the kind of laugh that doesn't include me, the kind that feels like a door being shut in my face even while I'm still standing in the hallway. I pause with the sweatshirt half folded, listening despite myself. That's when I hear her, Lauren, voice low but cutting like glass. That house is just rotting with her in it. It's ours the second she's gone, but why wait? My hands go still. My chest tightens like someone's squeezing it. I press myself flat against the wall beside the half-open door, not breathing, not moving, just listening. Daniel mutters something, hesitant. She won't sign anything while she's alive. And Lauren snaps back, voice rising just enough to carry. Then we make her want to leave. The words hit like a slap. I sink slowly to the floor, knees giving out without permission. My throat burns. Tears press behind my eyes, but they're not the kind you cry from sadness. They're hot, angry tears. For weeks, I've told myself it was just stress, that maybe I was imagining the coldness, the way they glance at each other when I talk about the garden or my late husband. But this is real. This is planned. They've been looking at my home like it's already theirs, talking about me like I'm a temporary problem they need to solve. Not a mother, not a person, just an old woman in the way of their future. I stay crouched there for what feels like forever, long after their voices shift to something lighter. Lauren teasing Daniel about his socks, him laughing like nothing just happened. My fingers dig into the fabric of the sweatshirt, the one he wore during finals week his junior year, the one I washed so many times the cuffs are thin. I remember buying him pizza that week, sitting on the dorm floor with him while he studied until 3 a.m. He used to say, "Mom, you're my anchor." Now he's sitting 10 feet away, nodding along while his wife plots how to get rid of me like I'm clutter. I don't move until I hear the clink of wine glasses being set down, the creak of the couch as they get up. Only then do I stand, knees stiff, and finish folding the laundry with mechanical precision. My hands don't shake. My face feels calm. But inside, something has shifted. The fog of hope I've been living in. The belief that if I just stayed quiet, gave more, smiled through the slights, has burned off. They don't want me to be part of their lives. They want my house. And they're willing to wait me out or push me out. Either way, I'm not supposed to stay. I carry the laundry basket into the hallway, eyes dry now, jaw set. When I pass the living room, Lauren looks up and gives me that half smile, the one that never reaches her eyes. "Everything okay, Evelyn?" she asks, too sweetly. "Just fine," I say, and keep walking. But I'm not fine. I'm awake. After they go to bed, Daniel in the guest room, Lauren in the master because you shouldn't climb stairs at your age, as if I'm made of porcelain, I sit at the kitchen table with a cup of tea I don't drink. The house is quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator and the occasional groan of old pipes. I replay their words over and over. Make her want to leave. How? Stop visiting? Stop calling? Pretend to care less until I start believing I don't matter? Or worse, start dropping hints about my health, my decline, my loneliness, so the neighbors start whispering, so Daniel starts worrying, so I begin to doubt myself? I know people like her. I worked in a hospital for 22 years before retiring. I've seen daughters sweet-talk their mothers into signing over property, watched husbands maneuver widows out of family homes for their own good. I never thought it would happen to me. Not with my own son. I get up and walk to the study, the room my husband turned into an office the year we paid off the mortgage. His old desk is still there, oak and solid, scratched from years of blueprints and tax forms. I open the bottom drawer, the one with the lock I never use anymore, and pull out the deed. It's heavier than I remember. I spread it on the desk under the lamp, tracing the lines with my finger. Evelyn Margaret Whitmore, sole owner, in fee simple, without encumbrance. It's all there, every signature, every stamp, every date that proves this house is mine. And not just legally, emotionally. This is where my husband proposed, where Daniel took his first steps, where we buried his first hamster under the rose bush. They don't just want bricks and wood. They want our history, and they think I'm too soft to fight back. I sit there for hours, rereading the deed, then pulling out property tax records, insurance documents, even the original sales contract from 1987. My husband's handwriting is on the margin. This is our castle, Evie. No one takes it from us. I run my thumb over the faded pencil. He died believing this place would always be safe. Did he ever imagine his own grandson, Daniel's son, if we're lucky, might grow up in a house that belonged to a woman who schemed her way in? The thought makes my stomach knot. I'm not paranoid. I'm not imagining things. I heard them, clear as day, And Daniel didn't argue. He didn't say, "That's my mother's home. We don't talk about her like that." He just mumbled and let her plan our future without me in it. That cuts deeper than Lauren's cruelty. She's always been cold, calculating. But Daniel, he was supposed to be my protection, my blood, eh? And now he's complicit. Not because he's evil, but because he's weak. And weakness can be just as dangerous as malice when it's wrapped in silence. I close the folder, stand up, and walk to the window. The moon casts a silver stripe across the backyard, lighting the old swing set we never took down. I press my palm against the cool glass. No, they won't have it. Not a single brick, not a single memory. If they want this house, they'll have to go through me, and I'm done being polite about it. The next morning, I make breakfast like nothing happened. Scrambled eggs, toast, fresh orange juice. Daniel stumbles in, hair messy, looking tired. Lauren follows in silk pajamas, sipping black coffee like she's in a magazine. "Smells great," she says, but doesn't eat much. Daniel thanks me, eats quickly, checks his phone. I watch them over my coffee cup, calm now, detached in a way that surprises even me. I used to ache for their approval. Now I just study them. How Lauren's eyes flick to the dining room hutch when she thinks I'm not looking. How Daniel rubs his temples like he's stressed but won't say why. After breakfast, Lauren stretches and says, "This place really has so much potential. With a little work, it could be stunning." She glances at me. "Maybe you should think about updating before it's too late." Too late for what? For me to enjoy it? For them to sell it at a profit? I nod like I'm considering it. "Maybe," I say. Inside, I'm already drafting a list. Call Leonard Vance, estate attorney. Ask about irrevocable trusts. Find out how to lock this house down so not even my own son can touch it without my say-so. I clear the plate slowly, letting the silence stretch. When they offer to help, I refuse gently. "You two relax. You're guests." And I mean it. They are guests in my home, not owners, not heirs waiting in the wings. Guests. And guests don't get to decide when the host leaves. That night, after they've gone back to their room, I sit at the kitchen table again, this time with a legal pad and a pen. I write down everything I heard, word for word. Then I list every asset I own. The house, my pension, the small investment account, my car. I circle the house 3 times. This isn't just property. It's the last place my husband ever kissed me. It's where I held Daniel the night he broke his arm, where I sat up with him during his first breakup. It's the porch where I scattered my husband's ashes because he asked me to. They think I'll fold because I'm old, because I'm alone, because I love my son too much to fight him. But love doesn't mean letting someone erase you. It means protecting what matters, even from the people who are supposed to protect you. I close the notebook, turn off the kitchen light, and stand in the dark for a moment, listening to the quiet. No, they won't take a single brick without a fight. And this time, I won't warn them. I'll act, because dignity isn't given, it's defended. And I'm done pretending. I'm sitting in a vinyl booth at Marge's Diner, 5 miles from my house, fingers curled tight around a coffee cup that's gone cold half an hour ago. The place smells like grease, burnt toast, and old coffee grounds, a familiar, almost comforting smell, but my stomach's in knots. Across from me, the salt shaker wobbles every time a truck rumbles past on the highway. I keep checking the door. He said 10:15. It's 10:18. My palms are slick. What if this is a mistake? What if I look like one of those paranoid mothers-in-law from TV, the kind who stalk their kids' spouses over nothing? But then I remember last Wednesday, Lauren whispering on the phone in the garage, her voice soft and laughing, saying, "I can't wait to see you again," before slamming the door like she'd been caught. And the earrings. Those diamond studs she got on sale when I know the brand doesn't go on sale. Ever. I found the flyer tucked in the back of a library community board. Tom Reyes Investigations. Discreet. Honest. Results. No slick website, just a phone number and a promise. I called 3 times before I could say the words out loud. I think my daughter-in-law is cheating on my son. A man in a gray overcoat steps in, scanning the room. Late 50s maybe, with tired eyes and salt and pepper hair cut short. He spots me, probably the only woman alone at this hour, and walks over without hesitation. "Mrs. Whitmore?" he asks, voice low. I nod. He slides into the booth, sets a worn leather notebook on the table, and orders black coffee from the passing waitress without looking at the menu. "You said on the phone you needed proof," he says, not unkindly. I swallow hard, then start talking. Fast, like if I stop, I'll lose my nerve. I tell him about the Wednesday work dinners Lauren never invites Daniel to, the texts she hides when he walks in the room, the way she suddenly has cash for designer bags but complains about rent. I mention the hotel-looking receipt I saw fall out of her purse last month. She snatched it back so fast I almost thought I'd imagined it. Tom doesn't interrupt. He just listens, eyes steady, scribbling notes in neat, slanted handwriting. When I finish, he leans back slightly and says, "People like her always leave traces. They think they're clever, but they get careless." Something in his tone, calm, certain, makes me believe him. For the first time in months, I don't feel crazy. I pull a manila folder from my purse. Inside are printed photos from family events. Lauren at Thanksgiving, laughing with her head tilted, Daniel looking proud beside her, me in the background, barely smiling. There's a copy of her work schedule from the boutique she claims to still work at. I called last week pretending to be a customer asking about holiday hours, and the manager said, "Lauren?" She quit in October. I hand Tom a list of dates, times, license plates I've memorized from her car, even screenshots of her Instagram stories that show her at places Daniel never mentioned. Tom flips through it slowly, nodding. "This is good," he says. "You've been paying attention. That's half the work." He explains his process: surveillance, digital footprints, maybe a few discreet conversations. "I don't break laws," he adds, "but I find what's hidden." I ask how long it'll take. 2 to 3 weeks usually, sometimes less. Then comes the number. His deposit is $800. My breath catches. That's my grocery money for the whole month. I'll be eating rice and beans, maybe skipping my blood pressure meds to stretch the budget, but I don't hesitate. I slide my checkbook across the table. Tom watches me sign without comment. He doesn't pity me. He respects me. That's the difference. He tucks the folder into his coat and stands. "I'll call you in 3 days with an update no matter what." I nod, throat tight. "And Mrs. Whitmore," he adds, hand on the back of the booth, "don't change your routine. Don't confront her. Don't act different. Let them believe everything's normal." I tell him I understand. As he walks out, I sit there for a long moment, staring at the check stub in my hand. $800, gone. But something else has taken its place. A strange, quiet certainty. I've stopped waiting for things to get better on their own. I've stopped hoping Daniel will see the light without proof. This isn't just suspicion anymore. This is action. I finish the cold coffee in one sharp gulp, bitter and strong, and push out of the booth. My legs feel shaky, but my spine's straight. Outside, the December wind bites at my cheeks, but I don't hunch or hurry. I walk to my car slowly, keys clicking in my hand. The sun's breaking through the clouds for the first time in days, casting long shadows across the parking lot. I feel exposed, yes, but also clear. Whatever Tom finds, I'll be ready. Because the worst isn't finding out she's lying. The worst is living in the fog of not knowing, letting her steal my son while I smile and serve pie. Back in the car, I sit for a minute with the engine off, breathing deep. My hands are still trembling, but not from fear now, From Resolve. I replay Tom's words. People like her always leave traces. That means she's not as smart as she thinks. That means she's made mistakes. And that means Daniel deserves to know the truth, even if it shatters him at first. I start the engine and pull onto the road, heading home. The diner shrinks in my rearview mirror, but the weight in my chest feels lighter. I'm not just a mother watching helplessly anymore. I'm gathering evidence, building a case, protecting what's left of my family. When I get home, I go straight to the kitchen and pour myself a glass of water. My reflection in the window looks older, sharper, like someone who's stopped apologizing for taking up space. I don't check my phone. I don't pace. I just sit at the table and wait. For the first time since Daniel brought Lauren home 3 years ago, I'm not reacting. I'm preparing. And that shift, that small, silent rebellion, is everything. Later that night, Daniel calls. "Hey, Mom, just checking in." His voice is tired, distant, the way it's been for months. I keep mine light. "Everything okay?" I ask, like I always do. "Yeah, Lauren's swamped with holiday orders at the store." I almost laugh. Almost. But I don't. I say, "Tell her I hope she gets some rest," and we hang up a minute later. Afterward, I stand in the dark kitchen, arms crossed, thinking. That lie, so casual, so practiced. He doesn't even know he's repeating her script. That's the real tragedy, not the affair, not even the house. They've already taken his mind, twisted his loyalty until he defends her without thinking. But now, I have a man in a gray coat who knows how to find the truth. And when the proof comes, Daniel won't be able to pretend anymore. I turn on the light, pull out my notebook, and write down everything I told Tom today, just in case. Then I go upstairs, wash my face, and get into bed. I don't cry. I don't pray for a miracle. I close my eyes and think, let her keep talking. Let her keep meeting him. Every time she does, she's digging her own grave. And for the first time in a long time, I fall asleep without checking the locks twice. I'm in my garage late at night, the single overhead bulb casting harsh shadows on the concrete floor, blinds pulled tight so no passing car headlights flicker through. My laptop screen glows in the dark. Tom's email just arrived. "First batch attached," it says. No greeting, no fluff, just business. My fingers hover over the mouse, cold and stiff, before I click open the folder. The first photo loads. Lauren stepping out of the Grand Meridian Hotel downtown, 3:17 p.m. On a Wednesday, the same Wednesday she told Daniel she had a client dinner. She's wearing that emerald dress she never wore for him, sunglasses on, glancing over her shoulder like she's checking for spies. My breath catches. I scroll down. Next photo. A man, late 40s, silver hair, sharp jawline, exiting the same hotel 15 minutes later. Tailored overcoat, leather briefcase, confident stride. I don't recognize him, but his posture screams money. Then another image, them in the hotel's underground garage. He's holding her hand. Not casually, intimately, like he owns her. My stomach knots so hard I double over for a second, hand braced on the dusty workbench. I keep scrolling. A wine bar downtown. Them at a corner table, heads close, her laughing with her mouth wide open, eyes crinkled in a way I've never seen when she's with Daniel. Another photo. Inside a black sedan, parked near the river trail, her lips on his, one hand tangled in his hair. She looks happy, genuinely happy, and it's not with my son. I open the second file Tom sent, screenshots of texts pulled from a burner phone he traced through her work emails. The first message, "Can't wait to be rid of boring Dan. He's so predictable. Always tired, always talking about his mom's stupid house." My hands shake so badly I almost drop the laptop. The next one, "Once we get the house, we're golden. I'll take my cut and vanish." She thinks she's leaving it to him, but I'll convince him to push her out first. There's more. Dozens of messages over weeks, full of plans, calculations, fake concern. They weren't just sleeping together. They were plotting, using her marriage like a bridge to steal everything I built. I lean over the garage sink, old porcelain, chipped at the edge, and vomit. Bile burns my throat. I don't cry. Not yet. I just grip the edge of the sink, breathing through my mouth, trying to steady my heartbeat. Daniel's been working 60-hour weeks, coming home exhausted, still making time to call me every Sunday like he promised. He thinks he's securing a future with her. He doesn't know she's been rehearsing lines to manipulate him while she's tangled up in some rich man's car downtown. And that laugh! God! That laugh! Like she's finally free. Free from him. Free from us. Free from the life she pretended to want. I wipe my mouth with the back of my sleeve and sink down onto the cold concrete floor, laptop still open in my lap. The images glow in the dark like evidence at a crime scene. Because that's exactly what this is. Theft. Not just of Daniel's trust, but of his dignity, his time, his love. She's been draining him dry while building her escape route with someone else's money. I reread one text over and over. He's so easy to control. Just guilt him about his mom and he'll do anything. That's why she kept pushing about the house. It wasn't about convenience or concern. It was bait. A way to isolate Daniel from me so she could steer him exactly where she wanted. My chest aches, not just for me, but for him. For the boy who still asks if I need help with the yard, who worries if I'm eating enough. He doesn't deserve this. No one does. But him. He believed in her. He defended her. He let her reshape him into someone I barely recognized. And now I hold proof that it was all a lie. A performance. A long, cruel con with our home as the prize. I close the laptop, but the images are burned into my mind. I can't unsee her smile in that wine bar. I can't unhear the glee in her written words. I sit there for a long time, back against the garage door, knees pulled to my chest. The silence is heavy, broken only by the hum of the freezer in the corner and the occasional car passing on the street. I think about Daniel's face the last time he came over. He looked tired, but hopeful. He mentioned they might start trying for kids soon. My breath hitches. Kids. With her? After all this? The thought makes me physically ill again, but I swallow it down. I can't keep this to myself. That's what she's counting on, that I'll stay quiet to protect him, that I'll let him marry deeper into this lie to avoid causing a scene. But protecting him means telling him the truth, even if it shatters him for a while. Because living with her, building a life on her lies, that's the real destruction. I stand up slowly, legs stiff, and carry the laptop inside. I don't go to bed. I sit at the kitchen table and open a new document. I start typing everything, dates, names, quotes, photo descriptions, organizing the evidence so it's clear, undeniable. Not for me, for him. So when I show him, there's no room for doubt. No chance she can twist it into mom's paranoia. He needs to see it all, raw and unfiltered. I pour myself a glass of water, but my hands are still trembling. I think about calling Tom, asking if there's more, if he's tracking where this man lives or works. But I don't. Not yet. This is enough. More than enough. I go back to the garage and print out the key photos. Lauren at the hotel, the hand-holding, the car kiss, and the worst of the texts. I lay them out on the table like a case file, each one a brick in the wall between her and whatever future she thought she'd steal. I'm not doing this out of revenge. Not really. If I were, I'd send these straight to Daniel's work email or post them online. But I'm not. I'm doing it because he's my son, and he deserves to know who he's sharing his life with, even if it breaks him, even if he hates me for a while. Better broken by truth than comfortable in a lie. I slide the printed pages into a manila folder, tuck it into the drawer with my important papers, and wash my face. My reflection in the mirror looks older, harder, but also clearer. Like I finally stopped hoping she'd change and started seeing her for what she is, a thief with a pretty smile and zero conscience. I go to bed around 2 a.m., but I don't sleep. I lie in the dark, replaying Daniel's voice from last Sunday's call. "How's the garden, Mom? The roses blooming yet?" So gentle. So real. And Lauren? She was probably texting her lover while Daniel said it, rolling her eyes at his sentimental nonsense. I clench my fists under the blanket. No more. I won't let her poison him another day. Tomorrow I'll call him. Not with accusations, not with drama, just an invitation. Come for dinner. I have something you need to see. He'll come. He always does, even when he's busy. and when he's sitting at my table, I'll hand him the folder. I'll let the photos speak. And I'll say only one thing. You deserve better. Because even if it destroys him at first, truth is the only thing that can rebuild him. And I'll be right there, waiting while he puts the pieces back together. This time, without her. I'm sitting in my living room, pretending to knit, the same half-finished scarf I've been working on for weeks, when my phone rings. Daniel's name flashes on the screen. My stomach tightens before I even answer. He sounds exhausted, like he hasn't slept in days, voice flat and distant. Hey, Mom. I keep my tone light. Hi, sweetheart. How are you holding up? He sighs. Okay. Lauren's been excited. She just got a big commission at the jewelry store. Bought herself those diamond earrings you liked. My fingers freeze around the knitting needle. Those earrings, small platinum settings, retail for over $2,200. Tom mentioned them in his last report. Said they were a gift from the man. My breath catches, but I don't let it show. Oh, really? That's wonderful, I say, forcing warmth into my voice. Which store is she at again? The one downtown? He hums. Yeah, Lux & Co. She's been doing so well lately. Says she's on track for sales rep of the quarter. Something clicks hard in my chest. Tom told me clearly last week. Lauren Fernandez hasn't worked at Lux & Co. since early October. I verified it with HR. She quit months ago. So why is Daniel talking about commissions? I keep my voice steady, casual. That's impressive. How many days a week is she working now? He hesitates. I think 4. Sometimes 5 if there's an event. She's been bringing home catalogs, showing me new pieces. I nod to myself, even though he can't see me. Catalogs. Gifts wrapped as work perks. She must be so proud of herself, I say. She deserves it after all her hard work. He agrees, but his voice is distracted, already checked out. We say goodbye a minute later, and I lower the phone slowly, heart pounding. She's not just sleeping with him. She's built a whole lie, and Daniel's living inside it, believing every word. I don't wait. I grab my keys, shove my feet into worn flats, and drive straight downtown. The sun's high, sharp against the windshield, but I barely feel the heat. My hands grip the wheel too tight. Lux & Co. is on Oak Street, all glass and gold lettering, the kind of place that makes you feel poor just walking past. I park 2 blocks away, walk slowly, and peer through the window before entering. Inside, women in sleek black uniforms glide between glass cases, smiling at clients with practiced ease. No Lauren. I step inside, the chime over the door crisp and cold. A woman with a silver name tag, Mira, approaches. Can I help you? She asks, polite but distant. I'm looking for Lauren Fernandez, I say, trying to sound like a curious aunt, not a desperate mother. Her expression shifts instantly, not to recognition, but to confusion. Lauren. She left last October, said she was moving to Austin. My stomach drops. Oh, I say, forcing a smile. Maybe I got the name wrong. She mentioned working here when she bought those platinum studs. Mira shakes her head gently. I'm sorry, but no. She hasn't been back since she quit. We haven't hired anyone else named Lauren. I thank her, step back into the sunlight, and stand there for a long moment in the parking lot. The heat presses down, thick and suffocating. My skin prickles. She's not just cheating. She's constructing a fake career, a fake success story, all while living off that man's money. And Daniel? He's her prop, her cover, her excuse to explain why she suddenly has luxury items and free time. He thinks he's supporting her dream. In reality, he's funding her lie by believing in her. I drive home with the windows down, wind whipping through my hair, but it doesn't cool me. My mind races through every detail. The work dinners on Wednesdays, the catalogs she brought home, the way she'd sigh and say, another long day at the boutique, before slipping into the garage to take secret calls. She didn't quit. To Daniel, she never quit. She made sure he kept thinking she was climbing a career ladder while she was actually climbing into someone else's bed and bank account. And now she's buying earrings with that man's money and calling them commissions, making Daniel feel proud of her success, maybe even guilty he can't give her that life himself. The cruelty of it hits me like a physical blow. This isn't just betrayal, it's performance. Every conversation, every outfit, every fake story. It's all theater, and Daniel's the audience who paid full price for a front row seat. I pull into my driveway, hands shaking, and sit in the car for 10 minutes, just breathing. The house is quiet, empty, but I don't go inside yet. I need to think. I need to plan. Because if she's willing to fabricate her entire livelihood to keep him blind, what else is she hiding? And what will she do when the truth starts to crack through? Back inside, I pour a glass of water and sit at the kitchen table. My hands are still unsteady. I pull out my notebook, the one I've been using to track everything since Tom started working, and flip to Lauren's page. I write, claims to work at Lux & Co., still employed, big commissions, earrings, hand, bonus. Then below it, in darker ink, reality, quit October, no job. Living off affair partner. The contrast is horrifying. I've suspected the affair, but this is systemic deception. She's not just stepping out on him. She's rewriting reality so thoroughly that even his pride in her is borrowed, false, manipulated. He brags about her to his friends, I bet. My wife's killing it at the store. And all the while, she's laughing behind his back with a man who buys her real bonuses. I close the notebook, stand up, and walk to the window. Daniel called her driven, ambitious. He defended her against my quiet doubts for months. Now I understand why she needed him to believe. It wasn't just about hiding the affair. It was about keeping him useful. As long as he thinks she's building something legitimate, he'll keep paying rent, keep being the good husband, keep silencing his own doubts. And she'll keep draining him, emotionally and financially, while pretending to thrive. That evening, I make tea, but don't drink it. I sit at the table with my phone in front of me, staring at Tom's number. I don't call right away. I want to be sure. I want to be precise. Because this changes things. Before, it was about infidelity. Painful? Yes, but personal. Now it's fraud. It's financial manipulation. It's using my son as a shield while living a double life funded by someone else. That's not just betrayal. That's premeditated. And if she's lying about her job, what else is she hiding? Fake bank statements? Fake pay stubs? Is she even filing taxes under her own name? My chest tightens. Daniel could be liable for things he doesn't even know about. I pick up the phone. Tom answers on the second ring. Mrs. Whitmore. His voice is calm, professional. I need proof that holds up in court, I say. No preamble, no hesitation. Not just photos or texts. I need financial records, employment verification, bank trails, whatever shows she's been lying about her income, her job, her life. He doesn't ask why. He just says, understood. I'll expand the scope, but it'll cost more. Whatever it takes, I say. I don't care about the money. I care about the truth. He pauses. You're sure? Yes, I say, and for the first time, my voice doesn't shake. Because if she's building a fake life on my son's back, I'm going to tear it down brick by brick. I look at Lauren's face in the hotel parking lot, radiant, carefree, holding that man's hand like she's already free of Daniel. And now I know, she's not just planning to leave him. She's already living as if he doesn't exist, except when she needs him to explain her sudden wealth or justify her busy schedule. The earrings, the clothes, the confidence, none of it belongs to her. And none of it belongs to their marriage. That night I don't cry. I don't rage. I sit at the kitchen table and write a new list. What Daniel believes. What's real. What I must prove. The house is quiet, but my mind is loud with resolve. I used to think exposing the affair would be enough. Now I know it's only the beginning. If she's lying about her job, the court will see her as more than unfaithful. She'll be seen as deceptive, manipulative, possibly fraudulent. And Daniel? He'll finally understand he wasn't just cheated on. He was used. That realization will hurt, but it will also free him. And I won't stop until every lie is stripped bare, until there's nothing left for her to hide behind. Not even a fake commission. I'm sitting across from Attorney Green in her downtown office, the late afternoon sun cutting sharp lines through the vertical blinds, striping the polished mahogany desk like prison bars. My coat's still on, damp at the shoulders from the drizzle outside, but I don't take it off. I feel too wired, too alert, She slides a thick manila folder toward me, the kind that means serious business. "You're smart to act now," she says, and there's no pity in her voice, just clarity, which I appreciate more than comfort right now. "We'll put the house in an irrevocable trust. Yours for life, no exceptions. After you pass, it goes to Daniel, if he hasn't tried to force you out." My breath catches, just slightly. I nod, but my throat tightens. She flips open the folder and points to a clause near the bottom of the second page. "This is the safeguard. If he sues you, threatens you, or even pressures you, legally or emotionally, to transfer or sell the property, he automatically forfeits all rights. The house would then go to the Heritage Women's Foundation." I read the words slowly. My own son, Daniel, the boy I stayed up with during fevers, whose college applications I proofread until 2 a.m., is now a legal risk. Not because he's evil, but because he's weak, and weakness can be weaponized by someone like Lauren. The thought stings like salt in a cut, but I don't look away. I ask questions: what counts as pressure, how enforcement works, whether this holds up in court. She answers each one firmly, citing precedents, statutes. I listen, absorbing every detail like armor. Green leans back, folding her hands. Most people wait until it's too late. By then, they're isolated, exhausted, or already signed something under duress. "You're ahead of the curve." I almost laugh. Ahead of the curve? I'm just trying to keep what's mine without losing my son in the process. But I know she's right. Every time Lauren drops a comment like, "That old place is more burden than blessing," or Daniel sighs and says, "Mom, you'd be so much freer in a condo," it's not concern. It's testing, probing for cracks. And if I hadn't heard them whispering about the house as their inheritance while I served coffee, I might still be fooling myself. But I'm not. Not anymore. Green hands me a pen. "Sign here and initial these 3 pages. Once it's filed, it's done. No takebacks, not even for family." I take the pen. It's heavier than I expect. I think of my husband standing in the empty living room the day we closed on the house, turning to me and saying, "This is ours, Evie. No one takes it from us." He didn't live to see this kind of threat, not from strangers, but from blood. But I'm still here, and I won't let his legacy become Lauren's prize. I sign my name, Evelyn Margaret Whitmore, clear, steady, no wavering. My hand doesn't shake, not once. After I sign, Green stands and shakes my hand. This trust is locked tighter than a bank vault. Even if Daniel hires the sharpest lawyer in the state, he can't touch it while you're alive. And if he tries to push you out after this, he walks away with nothing. I nod, zip my coat, and step out into the hallway. The office building is quiet now, most people gone for the day. The elevator ride down feels longer than usual. I keep replaying the clause in my head. If the grantor's child attempts to coerce, litigate, or unduly influence the transfer of the property, it's cold, clinical, but necessary. I'm not doing this to punish Daniel. I'm doing it to protect him, from Lauren, from his own blind loyalty, from the slow erosion of who he really is. Because if she gets the house, she'll vanish, and he'll be left with bills, confusion, and the crushing shame of realizing how he was used. This way, if he ever wakes up, if he chooses truth over comfort, the house will still be his. But only if he earns it, only if he stands up. The rain has stopped, but the air is still wet, heavy with the smell of pavement and city exhaust. I walk to my car without looking back. I drive home slowly, hands relaxed on the wheel for the first time in weeks. The streets are familiar, the bakery on Elm, the park where Daniel learned to ride a bike, the library where I found Tom's flyer. This whole town holds pieces of our life, and I won't let Lauren scrape them away like old paint. When I pull into the driveway, I don't go inside right away. I sit in the car and look at the house, the white siding my husband repainted the summer before he died, the porch swing where I've sipped morning coffee for 30 years, the garden I've tended through every season of grief. It's not just wood and nails. It's every birthday cake, every late-night talk, every time I whispered, "We'll be okay," to Daniel after his dad was gone. Lauren sees square footage and resale value, but I see love built over decades. And now, legally, it's untouchable. Not because I distrust my son, but because I know how easily love can be twisted when someone greedy is pulling the strings. I finally get out of the car, keys jingling in my hand. The front door creaks the same way it always has. Home. Inside, I pour myself a glass of water and sit at the kitchen table. The signed documents are in my purse, safe, but the weight they lifted is already gone from my shoulders. I think about Daniel, how he used to knock on my bedroom door at age 8 because he heard a noise outside, how he hugged me so tight at his college graduation, how he still calls me Ma when he's tired. That boy is still in there, buried under Lauren's influence. Maybe this trust will be the thing that helps him dig himself out. Because if he sees that I'm not backing down, that I won't let them take what's sacred, he might finally question why she's so desperate to get her hands on it. Maybe he'll realize it's not about my comfort. It's about control. And money. Always money. I don't feel guilty for protecting myself. For the first time, I realize this isn't about guilt at all. Guilt would have kept me silent, compliant, folding into myself until I disappeared. But this is justice. Not revenge, not spite, just fairness. I deserve to live out my days in peace, in the home I built. And if Daniel chooses Lauren over that truth, then he doesn't deserve the house anyway. But if he chooses clarity, honesty, family, then it'll be waiting for him. And I'll be waiting too. I go to bed that night without checking the locks twice, without replaying every sharp word Lauren's tossed my way, without wondering if I'm being too harsh. The trust is filed, the house is shielded, and I am no longer prey. Walking out of Green's office, I felt grief. Yes, for the trust I've lost with my son, for the innocence of believing love alone could protect us. But I also felt something new. Power. Not the kind that dominates, but the kind that endures. The kind that says, this far and no further. I won't apologize for it. I won't soften it to make Daniel more comfortable. Comfort got us here. Comfort, silence, and the lie that being nice would be enough. Well, nice didn't stop Lauren. Nice didn't save my son. But truth might, and strength will. So I'll keep standing. Not as a victim, not as a bitter old woman, but as a mother who finally learned that protecting her family sometimes means drawing a line in the concrete and letting the world see it. I'm serving Daniel his favorite lasagna, 3 layers of ricotta, spinach, and marinara. I simmered all afternoon while candles flicker on the table and soft piano music plays from the speaker in the corner. I keep my voice light, casual, like this is just another dinner, not a reckoning. How's work been, sweetheart? I ask, setting his plate down gently. He barely glances up from his phone, thumb scrolling through something. Fine, he mutters. Across from him, Lauren files her nails with slow, deliberate strokes, not even pretending to engage. That little smirk is back, the one that says she knows something I don't, that she's already won. I take a breath. I was downtown today, I say, pouring water into their glasses, near Verona's. I thought about popping in to say hello. See how you're doing, Lauren. Her filing stops. Just for a second, but I see it. Oh, she says too sweetly. That's nice. I sit down, fold my napkin, and look right at her. Only thing is, the manager told me you left last October, said you moved to Austin. Daniel finally looks up. His fork hovers midair. What are you talking about, Mom? I keep my voice steady. I asked for you. The woman at the counter, Mira, she said, Lauren? She left in October. Haven't seen her since. Lauren's face drains of color, then flushes red. That's ridiculous. I've been there every day this week. But her voice wavers, just slightly. Is that so? I ask. Because I also checked their website. Your name's not on the staff list anymore. And when I called last month pretending to be a customer asking about holiday hours, they said the same thing. You quit months ago. Lauren? She forces a laugh, brittle and sharp. Your mother's paranoid. She's been stressed about the house, about us, and now she's making up stories. But Daniel's not smiling. He's watching her, really watching her, maybe for the first time in months. Why would the manager say you quit if you didn't? Lauren shifts in her seat. Maybe I took a leave? Maybe they assumed I left because I've been working remotely on inventory? Her excuse sounds flimsy even to her. Daniel leans forward. You told me you had that big commission this week, the one for the diamond studs. You showed me the deposit. She nods fast. Yeah, exactly. Remote sale. Client from Dallas. Then why? He asks slowly. Did Mom just say they don't give commissions like that? Even to senior staff? I hadn't told him that part. He figured it out on his own. Lauren's mask cracks. You're believing her over me? Her voice rises. After everything I've done for this family? You haven't done anything but lie, I say quietly. You've been living off someone else's money while telling Daniel you're thriving at a job that doesn't exist. Lauren slams her fork down. This is insane. I'm not staying here to be interrogated like a criminal. But Daniel doesn't reach for her hand. He just stares at his plate, jaw tight. How long? He asks. How long have you not been working? She stammers, scrambles. A few weeks, maybe. I didn't want to worry you. The store's been slow. That's not what they told me, I say. They said you walked out in October and never came back. Daniel looks at her, eyes narrow, voice low. Is that true? She doesn't answer. She can't. The silence stretches, thick and suffocating, broken only by the soft hiss of the candles. By the time I serve dessert, chocolate cake Daniel loved as a kid, no one's touched their lasagna. Lauren's crossed her arms, staring at the wall like she's already planning her exit. Daniel hasn't moved. He just sits there, pale, quiet, chewing the inside of his cheek the way he used to when he was 12, and I caught him lying about breaking the neighbor's window. That boy always hated disappointing me. This man looks like he's realizing he's disappointed himself. I don't push. I don't gloat. I just clear the plate slowly, giving him space to process. When I bring coffee, he finally speaks. Why didn't you tell me? He asks, not looking at Lauren. Because I needed you to hear it from her, I say. Not from me. You had to see her lie with your own eyes. He nods once, sharp, like he's made a decision. Lauren tries one last time. Daniel, please. It's not what it looks like. I was going to tell you. I just needed to figure things out first. But he doesn't respond. He just stands, walks to the coat rack, and pulls on his jacket. Let's go, he says, voice flat. She scrambles up, grabs her purse, shoots me a glare that could cut glass. You've ruined everything, she hisses. I don't answer. I just meet her eyes and hold them until she looks away. At the door, Daniel turns back. He pulls me into a tight hug, harder than he's hugged me in years, and whispers, so low Lauren can't hear, I'll look into it. I don't tell him I already know the truth. I don't say I have bank records, texts, hotel receipts. I just hold him like I'm memorizing the feel of my real son beneath the suit Lauren dressed him in. After they leave, I stand in the doorway for a long time, watching their car disappear down the street. The house is quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator and the soft sigh of the furnace kicking on. My hands are steady, but my chest aches. Not from fear, from grief. I just watched my son begin to wake up, and it hurt him. That's the hardest part. Knowing the truth will shatter him before it saves him. I go back to the kitchen, pour myself a glass of water, and sit at the table. The uneaten lasagna sits under foil. The candles have burned low. I should clean up, but I don't move. I just replay Daniel's face, the confusion, the dawning horror, the quiet rage. He's starting to see. Not all of it yet, but enough. Enough to question her. Enough to doubt the story she's been feeding him for months. And that's the crack I needed. Because once doubt enters, the whole house of lies starts to lean. I won't rush him. I won't flood him with everything at once. He'll come to me when he's ready. And when he does, I'll be here. With the truth, with the evidence, with open arms. But tonight, I just let myself feel the weight of what I've done. I didn't destroy his marriage. She did. I just turned on the lights so he could finally see the rot. I go upstairs and change into my robe. The hallway mirror shows a woman older than she was this morning. Tired eyes, lines deeper around the mouth, but also clearer, sharper. I've spent months pretending to believe her lies, smiling through the insults, folding myself smaller to make room for her greed. But tonight I stopped pretending, stopped. And it felt like breathing for the first time in a year. I think about Lauren's panic when I mentioned Verona's, the way her confidence collapsed into flustered excuses. She thought she was untouchable. She thought Daniel would always choose her voice over mine. But tonight, he chose truth. Not all the way. Not yet. But he chose to look. And that's everything. I go back downstairs, blow out the candles, and turn off the lights one by one. In the dark kitchen, I run my hand over the edge of the table. The same table where Daniel did his homework, where we planned his graduation party, where I told him his father was gone. This house holds every version of him, even the lost one, and I'll keep holding it until he finds his way back. Later, I sit on the porch swing in the cool night air, wrapped in my husband's old flannel. The stars are bright, sharp pinpricks in a black sky. I think about Daniel's whisper at the door. I'll look into it. Not, "You're wrong." Not, "Lauren would never." Just those 4 words. That's all I needed. He's starting to untangle himself, and when he does, I'll be ready. Not with more accusations, not with "I told you so," but with a hot meal, a clean guest room, and the quiet certainty that he's loved, no matter what. I don't know how long it'll take. I don't know if Lauren will double down or run. But I do know this. I held my son tonight like I was saying goodbye to the man she turned him into. And I'm ready to welcome back the boy I raised, the one who knew right from wrong, who called me Ma when he was scared, who believed in honesty even when it hurt. That boy is still in there. Buried but not gone. And tonight, for the first time in a long time, I let myself hope. I'm watching snow fall outside the kitchen window, slow and steady like the world's holding its breath, when my phone buzzes on the table. It's Tom. Just 2 lines. Got the video, hotel room, curtains open. Clear as day. My stomach drops, but I don't hesitate. I open my laptop, click the file he sent, and press play. The image loads fast. Lauren, in that red lace slip she never wore for Daniel, standing by a window with Christmas lights strung along the frame. Snow falls outside that window too, but this is a downtown hotel, not our quiet street. The man, Adrian, is behind her, hands on her waist, pulling her close. She turns, laughs that same laugh I saw in the wine bar photos, and kisses him like she's been waiting all day for this. The curtains are half drawn, but the camera angle is perfect. You can see everything. Her fingers in his hair, his mouth on her neck, the way she arches toward him like he's oxygen. I don't cry. I just sit there, frozen, staring at the screen until it loops. There's no shock left in me, just a cold, heavy numbness. This isn't just betrayal. It's performance. She's not hiding. She's celebrating. And Daniel, my son who stayed late at the office last night to finish a proposal so they could start saving for a house, has no idea. Or maybe he's starting to. I close the laptop, leave it on the table, and pour myself a glass of water. My hands don't shake. I've been waiting for this moment since I heard her say, "Boring Dan," in that text. Now I have proof even he can't ignore. The house is quiet for hours after that. I don't pace. I don't call anyone. I just sit at the kitchen table, watching the snow pile up on the porch rail, thinking about how Daniel used to build snowmen with me when he was 7, how he'd pack the snow just right so the head wouldn't fall off. That boy trusted the world, trusted people, trusted her. And she's been laughing behind his back while he carried her groceries, defended her to me, and planned a future that was never real. Around 9 p.m., my phone rings. It's Daniel. I answer on the first ring. "Mom?" His voice cracks before he can say more. I stay quiet. Just breathe. "She admitted it," he finally says. Words thick like he's choking on them. Said it was just emotional support. Whatever that means. But I saw the texts you gave me. The ones where she called me pathetic. Weak. Manipulatable. He's crying now. Soft sobs that sound like he's trying to hide them. My chest aches. But I don't say "I told you so." I don't say "I warned you." I just say, "Come stay with me." He doesn't argue, doesn't make excuses, just says, "Okay," and hangs up. And in that single word, I hear the boy I raised, the one who still believed in honesty, even when it hurt. An hour later, headlights slice through the snow, and his car pulls into the driveway. He gets out wearing just a hoodie and jeans, no coat, snow already dusting his hair. He's carrying a duffel bag, probably threw in whatever was closest. I open the door before he reaches it. He doesn't say anything, just steps inside, stomps snow off his boots, and stands there, shoulders hunched like he's trying to disappear. I take the bag, hang his wet hoodie on the rack, and lead him to the kitchen. The kettle's already whistling. I pour hot water into 2 mugs, drop in chamomile tea bags, and slide one toward him. He wraps his hands around it like it's the only warm thing left in the world. We sit across from each other at the table, steam curling between us. No one speaks. No one needs to. Outside, the snow keeps falling. Inside, the silence isn't empty. It's full of everything we've both been holding in for months. I don't ask questions. I don't offer advice. I just let him be here, in this house that still smells like cinnamon and safety. Let him remember what it feels like to be loved without an agenda. After a while, he sets his mug down and stares into it like it holds answers. "She said it wasn't physical at first," he says, voice rough. "Just dinners, talks, that I never listened, never made time." He shakes his head. "But the texts, Mom, she said I was a placeholder, that she stayed because the house was in play." His voice breaks again, but he doesn't look away. "I believed her. Every lie. Even when you showed me she didn't work at the boutique, I made excuses. I told myself maybe she was embarrassed. Maybe she was scared to tell me." I reach across the table and put my hand over his. "It's cold. You loved her," I say. "That's not a weakness. It's who you are." He looks up then, eyes red-rimmed but clear. I feel like such a fool. "No," I say. "You were kind. That's not foolish. She was just cruel." He nods, swallows hard, and takes a slow sip of tea. The quiet settles again, but it's different now. Less heavy, more honest. He's not defending her anymore. He's mourning the person he thought she was. And that's the first real step. Later, I show him to the guest room, the one that used to be his before he moved out. The bed's made with clean sheets, the quilt my mother stitched still folded at the foot. He pauses in the doorway. "You kept it like this?" "Of course," I say. "This is your home." "Always has been." He walks in, drops his bag by the dresser, and runs a hand over the old baseball trophy on the shelf, his from high school. "I forgot how much I missed this," he says softly. I don't say anything, just turn down the bed, fluff the pillow. He watches me, then says, "She packed her things before I got back, left a note saying I chose you over us." I stop tucking the blanket. Then she never understood us at all. He gives a sad, short laugh. "No, she didn't." I nod, step back. "Get some rest. We'll talk more tomorrow." He doesn't argue, just kicks off his shoes, climbs under the covers fully clothed, and closes his eyes like he hasn't slept in weeks. I turn off the lamp and leave the door open a crack, just like I did when he was little and scared of the dark. Back in the kitchen, I wash the mugs, wipe the counter, and turn off the lights. But I don't go to bed. I sit on the couch in the dark living room, listening to the soft hum of the furnace and the occasional creak of the house settling. For the first time in years, I don't feel alone. He's here, not the version of him Lauren shaped, not the distant, distracted man who barely looked at me during dinner, but my son, the real one, the one who still knows how to cry, how to admit he was wrong, how to come home when the world breaks him. I don't know what comes next. Divorce? Lawyers? Heartache? But none of that matters right now. What matters is that he's safe, that he sees clearly, and that I have him back. Not perfectly, not instantly healed, but honestly. That's enough. More than enough. Outside, the snow keeps falling, blanketing everything in white, like the world's giving us a clean start. And for the first time in a long time, I let myself believe we might actually get one. I'm sitting on my porch at dawn, wrapped in my late husband's old flannel, the one with the faded elbows and the smell of sawdust still clinging to the collar, when Daniel pulls into the driveway. He doesn't honk. He just gets out, walks up the steps with slow, tired steps, and hands me a white envelope. No return address. Just my name scrawled in handwriting I'd recognize anywhere. Lauren's. "She left this," he says, voice flat, eyes hollow. I don't open it right away. I just hold it, feeling the weight of whatever poison she packed inside. The sky's pale pink, birds starting to chirp, the world waking up like nothing's broken. But everything has. I tear the envelope open and pull out a single sheet of paper. The letter starts with, "You ruined everything." My stomach tightens, but I keep reading. She writes that she never wanted my house. That rotting old place meant nothing to me. That all she wanted was Daniel gone so she could be free. Free to do what? Run back to that man in the silver hair? Start over with someone who wouldn't notice her lies? The rest of the page is blame wrapped in fake sorrow. I only stayed because I felt trapped. You poisoned him against me. You'll die alone in that tomb of a house. There are actual tear stains on the paper. I almost laugh. She rehearsed this. She wanted me to crumple it in rage or tuck it away in shame. But I don't. I read it once. Then again, slower, noting every self-serving twist, every attempt to rewrite her cruelty as victimhood. This isn't a confession. It's another performance. And I won't give her the satisfaction of pretending it stings. Daniel stands beside the railing, arms crossed, staring at the rose bushes I pruned last week. He doesn't ask what it says. He already knows. He's seen enough, her texts, the hotel footage, the receipts for gifts from that man. To understand Lauren's goodbye isn't remorse. It's exit strategy. She called me last night, he says quietly. Left a voicemail. Said I'd regret believing you over her. Said I threw away 3 years for nothing. I fold the letter neatly and slide it back into the envelope. 3 years of lies, I say. That's not yours to lose. He doesn't answer right away. Just kicks at a loose pebble on the porch. I watch him, the slump in his shoulders, the way his wedding ring still glints in the morning light even though it doesn't belong there anymore. He's not angry. Not anymore. He's just tired. Tired of pretending. Tired of being used. Tired of defending someone who never deserved it. She packed most of her stuff, he says. Left the rest in boxes. Wants me to drop them off at a storage unit downtown by Friday. I nod. We'll do it today. He looks at me, surprised. You don't have to help. I know, I say. But I want to. Because this isn't just about clearing out clothes and perfume bottles. It's about helping him close the door. For real. We drive to his apartment in silence, the heater humming between us. The place feels different already, lighter, like the air itself has changed. Her presence used to cling to every surface. The 2 perfect throw pillows, the expensive candles she never lit, the photos of them that always made her look flawless, while Daniel looked tired. Now, the boxes are stacked by the door, 3 of them, neatly taped, labeled in her sharp, stylish script. Lauren, personal. I don't touch them. I head straight for the bedroom. Her closet is half empty. Designer shoes lined up like soldiers, silk blouses still on hangers, a jewelry box open on the dresser. Daniel stands in the doorway, hands in his pockets. She took the big stuff, he says. Left the rest. I start folding sweaters, placing them in a box without comment. He watches for a moment, then walks over and pulls a stack of scarves from a drawer. Remember that trip to Colorado? He asks suddenly. The one she made us cancel because she got a promotion? I nod. She was with him that weekend. Tom confirmed it. He swallows hard. I keep forgetting she was never really here, even when she was. We work side by side for an hour, sorting, folding, boxing. No music, no small talk, just the sound of zippers, rustling fabric, the occasional sigh. It's not angry work. It's quiet, honorable almost. Like we're laying a ghost to rest. Halfway through, Daniel picks up a framed photo from the nightstand, the one from their wedding day. He stares at it for a long time, thumb brushing the glass. I look happy, he says, voice rough. I was happy. Or I thought I was. He sets it face down in the box. I wasted 3 years. The words hang between us, heavy with regret. I stop folding and turn to him. You didn't waste them. He looks up, eyes wet. How can you say that? Because you survived them, I say, and I mean it with every bone in my body. You didn't lose yourself forever. You came back. That's not waste. That's courage. He doesn't argue, just nods, wipes his face with the back of his hand, and keeps packing. And in that moment, I see it, the shift. He's not mourning the marriage anymore. He's mourning the illusion. And that's how healing starts. Not with denial, not with rage, but with clear-eyed grief for what never really was. By noon, the last box is sealed. We load them into his trunk, the weight of her lies finally contained, labeled, removable. Back at the house, I make grilled cheese sandwiches, his favorite since he was 6. And we eat at the kitchen table like we used to when he was a boy, and the world was smaller, simpler. He doesn't talk much, but he's present. Really present. Not checking his phone, not lost in guilt. Just here. After lunch, he washes the dishes while I wipe down the counters. No one says it, but we both know the worst is over. She's gone. Not just from his apartment, but from our lives. Her words can't touch us now. Her plans failed. Her cruelty backfired. And as I watch Daniel rinse a plate, humming under his breath like he used to before she came along, I feel something I haven't felt in years. Peace. Not the quiet of surrender, but the quiet of safety. Like the storm passed, and the ground is still solid beneath us. That night, I go to bed without checking the locks twice, without scanning the driveway for unfamiliar cars, without lying awake listening for footsteps. The enemy's gone. Not because I defeated her, though I did, but because Daniel finally saw her for what she was. And now, we rebuild. Not the life he lost, but the one he's owed, the one he deserves. I fall asleep thinking about the garden I'll plant in spring. Roses, lavender, maybe some tomatoes. Things that grow strong when you give them room, light, and time. Things that don't pretend to be something they're not. Just honest, rooted, real. And for the first time in a long time, that's exactly what we are too. I'm kneeling in my garden on a warm April morning. Sun already soft on my shoulders. Dirt packed under my nails as I press the last tulip bulb into the soil. The earth smells rich, alive. Nothing like the cold, hard ground I used to sit on last winter, wrapped in that old shawl, watching snow fall and wondering if I'd ever feel safe in my own home again. Back then, every shadow felt like a threat, every silence like a trap closing. Now the only sound is birdsong and the faint drip of the hose coiled nearby. Inside, I hear Daniel moving around the kitchen, the low hum of the coffee grinder, then his voice. Humming an old tune, something from his childhood. It's been years since I've heard him hum. Not since before Lauren, not since he started carrying that quiet tension in his shoulders like a second skin. He's been staying with me most weekends now, not because he has to, but because he wants to. Last week he told me he started seeing a therapist. She helps me untangle things, he said over dinner, voice steady but eyes a little raw. I didn't push, didn't offer advice. Just nodded and passed the bread. Yesterday, he opened a new savings account. Just mine, he said, showing me the paperwork like it was a victory, and it was. No shared accounts, no hidden transfers. Just his name, his money, his fresh start. I brush the dirt off my knees and stand, stretching my back. The garden's coming back to life. Daffodils pushing through, the rosebush budding, and now these tulips, red and gold, the kind my husband loved. I remember how this patch used to be my thinking spot, where I'd sit after Lauren's visits, replaying every cutting remark, every condescending smile, wondering what I'd done wrong. Now it's just dirt and sun and the promise of bloom. I walk inside, and Daniel's at the counter, pouring 2 mugs of coffee. He smiles when he sees me. Real, relaxed, not the tight, polite version he wore for months. "Morning," he says. "You're up early." "Couldn't wait," I say, taking the mug he offers. Steam curls between us. On the kitchen table, beside a half-eaten piece of toast, lies a brochure. Community College, Spring Semester, Introduction to Garden Design. I'd picked it up last week during my library run, tucked it in my bag like a secret. Today, I leave it out. Daniel notices. "Thinking of signing up?" he asks, not teasing, just curious. "Yeah," I say. "I've been thinking about it, not to fill time, not to keep busy, just because I want to learn how to make things grow the right way." He nods like he understands. And maybe he does, because healing isn't about forgetting. It's about learning to plant new things where the old wounds were. We sit at the table together, sipping coffee in comfortable silence. No pressure to talk, no need to explain. The house feels different now, lighter, like the walls themselves can breathe. After Lauren left, I kept expecting footsteps, waiting for the next jab, the next demand. But weeks passed, then months, and nothing came. She vanished into that life she'd built with lies. And Daniel? He stayed. Not the broken version of himself she left behind, but the real one, slowly reassembling, piece by careful piece. He stopped flinching when the phone rings. He looks me in the eye when he talks. And last night, over dinner, he laughed. Actually laughed. At something I said. The kind of full-throated sound I hadn't heard since he was a teenager. I didn't comment on it. I just let it hang in the air, warm and real. That's the thing about truth. Once it's out, it doesn't need defending. It just is. And we're learning to live inside it, not around it. Later, I go back outside and water the newly planted bulbs, careful not to flood them. The sun climbs higher, warming my back. I think about the trust documents locked in my safe. The house fully mine, protected not out of spite, but out of love. For myself, for Daniel, for the life we built before anyone tried to steal it. I don't check the locks twice at night anymore. I don't scan the driveway for unfamiliar cars. The enemy's gone. What's left is just us, and that's enough, more than enough. I look through the window and see Daniel at the table, flipping through the garden design brochure, his brow furrowed in that serious way he gets when he's genuinely interested. He catches me watching and grins. "You'd be good at this," he calls. I smile back. Maybe, and I mean it. Not because I need to prove anything, but because I've earned the right to want things for myself, to learn, to create, to enjoy the quiet without fearing what comes next. That afternoon, I drive to the community college. The campus is smaller than I imagined. Brick buildings, wide sidewalks, students laughing under the trees. I park, walk in, and ask for the registrar's office. The woman at the desk is kind, unhurried. She hands me an enrollment form and a schedule. "Garden design starts next Monday," she says. "Professor Ellis is great, practical, no fluff." I fill out the form right there at the counter. Name, address, phone number. No hesitation. When I hand it back, she stamps it and gives me a receipt. "Welcome," she says. And just like that, it's real. I'm not doing this to distract myself. I'm not doing it to prove I'm not lonely. I'm doing it because I like the idea of knowing which flowers thrive in shade, how to layer bloom times, how to build soil that holds life. It's not about escape. It's about building something new, right where I am. On the drive home, I roll the windows down and let the spring air rush in. The house comes into view, white siding, blue shutters, the porch swing swaying slightly in the breeze. It's mine. Fully. Finally. Not because I fought to keep it, though I did, but because I refused to let fear take it from me. And as I pull into the driveway, I realize something simple but deep. I'm not waiting for anyone's permission to live. Not Daniel's, not society's, not even my own guilt. I'm just living. Planting bulbs, signing up for classes, drinking coffee with my son like we've always belonged to each other. And that, right there, is healing. Not loud or dramatic, but steady, quiet, and rooted. Just like the tulips I planted this morning. They'll bloom when they're ready, and so will I. If this story touched you or reminded you of someone you love, I'd be so grateful if you'd take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support means more than you know. Please leave a comment below and tell me where you're watching from. Your city or country truly warms my heart and reminds me I'm not alone in this. Thank you, from the bottom of my soul, for listening with care and staying with me until the end. If you've connected with this journey, there are more real stories like this one waiting for you here, each told with truth and heart, with love, respect, and deep gratitude.